Some NBA stories are so famous that fans treat them like absolute truth, even when the facts tell a completely different story. Every season, highlight reels, social media debates, and old legends shape how people see the league in ways that aren't always accurate. But when you look closely, the reality behind these myths is often far more surprising than the stories we've always heard. Today, we're covering the top 7 NBA myths fans still believe. At number 7 stands the myth that Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team because he wasn't good enough. The truth is, he wasn't cut at all, but was placed on junior varsity because the varsity roster needed size, not guards. Yet this story grew into a legend that made it sound like he overcame being told he couldn't play at all. But the next myth is even more misunderstood. At number 6 lies the belief that Wilt Chamberlain played against weak competition and dominated only because the league was small. In reality, he faced Hall of Fame centers almost every night and put up historic numbers in an era with brutal physical play. The idea that Wilt had it easy ignores the fact that he changed the sport so much that the NBA rewrote rules to slow him down. Yet things get even stranger when you look at myths built around entire teams. At number 5 rises the myth that the 1990s were the toughest defensive era ever and that modern players couldn't survive it. While the rules were different, pace was slower and spacing was limited, making offense look harder than it truly was. Many analysts argue today's defenders are faster, stronger, and more versatile, and the average athlete has evolved dramatically. However, this next myth changes everything fans think about winning. Coming in at number 4 is the belief that superteams are a recent invention that started with the Miami Heat in 2010. Historic rosters like the 1980s Lakers, the 1980s Celtics, and the 1990s Bulls all featured multiple Hall of Famers stacked together. Superteams weren't created by free agency, but by trades, drafts, and dynasties built with concentrated star power. But the next myth is one fans repeat every season without realizing the truth behind it. At number 3 stands the myth that defense wins championships on its own. While defense matters, nearly every champion in modern history also ranked among the best offensive teams in efficiency. Balanced teams win titles, not defensive-minded squads that struggle to score when it matters. Yet things get even more intense when you examine myths about player size and strength. At number 2 lies the belief that Steph Curry is small and easily pushed around because he shoots from long range. Curry is actually close to the league's average size for a guard and is one of the strongest pound-for-pound players in the NBA. His off-ball movement, conditioning, and physical durability make him far harder to defend than casual fans assume. But nothing compares to the biggest myth in basketball. And at number 1 rises the belief that LeBron James isn't clutch and disappears in big moments. Advanced stats show he is one of the most efficient clutch performers in NBA history, with dozens of game winners and playoff highlights. The myth grew from early narratives and selective memory rather than the full picture of his career. The truth is, LeBron has been one of the most reliable late-game players the league has ever seen. Which myth surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments and hit subscribe for more deep dive basketball breakdowns.